Hello, I'm Kevin, VK6 Lima Whiskey, Victor Kilo 6 Tango in contests. So this short video is all about my Delta Loop on-ground receive antennas. These are a Delta Loop and they have the base wire on the ground, around about 10 millimeters off the ground, depending on maybe how much ground cover you have. And the apex height is around about 6.7, 6.8 meters above the ground. So I've got a couple of sizes. One is a 37 meter circumference, and that gives a nice pattern on 160, 80 and 40 meters with some good front to back. And the other one is a 55 meter circumference, and the pattern's good on 160. The pattern on 80 is okay, it still works, it still has some front to back, but the pattern on 40 meters becomes a little bit more of a broadside pattern. So the advantage with these antennas is that they're very quiet. Now I have some terminated beverages here, and the beverages pick up more noise. The beverages have got a little bit more signal output than these, but because of the noise on the beverage, the effective signal to noise ratio on these two antennas is virtually identical on 160 meters if you're comparing it with a one wavelength beverage. On 80 meters with a two wavelength beverage, the beverage sort of is slightly better, but maybe only by 2 or 3 dBs. Again, this antenna is very quiet on all the low bands by having this base wire on the ground. So it can suit a situation where you've got quite a noisy location. It's also very useful if you don't have much space. Even the 55 meter Delta Loop on ground, it doesn't take up anywhere near as much space as a full wavelength on 160 meters, which would be 160 meters. So it's a very useful low band receive antenna. And I've got several of these now. I tend to use these in preference to my beverages because of the low noise factor. That's really quite an advantage. Anyway, I had a request for a slightly bigger Delta Loop on ground, 110 meters in circumference, so double the size of the 55. And to sort of accommodate that, I've increased the apex to 9 meters. Up here, this apex is 9 meters. The source is still in the same place, the feed point's here, the terminating resistance here. I found I had to change the terminating resistance down to around about 200 ohms to make it all work. The effective SWR on this antenna is not quite as good. It changes the dynamic of the antenna, making it so large, but the SWR is still under 5 to 1, and although that sounds high, really on the low bands with decent coax, it's not going to make any difference to the result. So done a little bit of modelling here. These are the plots for 160 meters, 1.8 megahertz. You can see this really looks quite good, and you have the outer ring here at minus 13.6 dBi, which is that's pretty good. I mean, it's comparable to what you will get with the output from a beverage, and you've got a little bit of front to back. So on 160 meters, that's quite good. And of course, you can configure these loops and have two back-to-back and switch them, and that's all entirely possible. Or you can phase them. You can feed them in broadside pair and phase them, so get a little bit more output and a little bit more directivity. So 160 meters, this looks pretty good. Might be worth trying. Again, the base wire is on the ground, so it should be a very, very quiet antenna. I haven't actually built this antenna yet. This is just a modelling exercise, a little bit of an experiment. If you have a look at 80 meters on here, it changes things a bit. So here we go, and you can see here on 80 meters it's really a little bit high angle. It's got quite good output. It's got minus 9.7 dBi, but it's essentially a high angle type pattern, which may not be quite as useful as the smaller Delta Loop on ground. So if you're going to build one of these 110 meter circumference Delta Loop on ground, I'd suggest that probably you do it for 160 meters. You're going to get better. You're going to get a better result for sure. It might still be useful in 80 and 40. It's hard to tell, but essentially this is where you're going to get the best pattern. So that's about it for now for this antenna. I probably will play a little bit more with this, see if I can enhance the results. But essentially that's the basis of it. Probably not much point in going to a larger size than this. I don't think. You're probably going to end up losing the 160 meter performance as well. But again, for people that have got maybe a little bit more space, the span on this is look at that, 27 meters. The span from side to side is 54 meters. So around about 160, 170 feet, something like that. and that might be worth considering if you have the space and you're interested in some experimentation on the low bands. Okay, 73s for now from me, Kevin, VK6 Lima Whiskey.